These are the books that I would like to read in August, aka it's time for my August TBR. Let's get into it. August is the month that I like to do a series focus, usually rereading a series that maybe has had new installments that I haven't got to, or just one that it's been a very long time, like 12 years since I have read the series. The series for this August in 2026 is the Divergent series. I've read these first 3 books. I've never read this one. And I just want to talk about my memories for this series, but I do want to say my book club will be reading the first book, Divergent. We'll talk about why there's 2 copies. We will be reading this over on the Fable app, which is linked down below in the description of this video. And I know the first book is available on Kindle Unlimited, and that's where I'm going to be reading it. The first book, for what it's about, they have to take an aptitude test every year. This is set kind of in the near future, Chicago, as like the buildings we know are still there. There are several different factions that the person can be placed into. But a divergent is when you kind of test positive for more than one of those factions. And our character, she has to make a decision of which path she wants to go down to stay with her family and what she knows, or doing what she truly wants to do. This is a young adult science fiction dystopian series. With my experience for this series, we're going to go into a lot of different stories. I don't know how I got introduced to this book series. Now, this is the original copy that I read with way back then. As you can see, a major motion picture in theaters, March 2014. You can see this book has taken some wear to it over the years. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have my name written into it because I was lending books out back in the day. Now I just buy people the book that I want them to read. This copy was published in 2011. I'm not exactly sure what year I read this, but I do know it was after the Hunger Games because I was really into the Hunger Games. And then Divergent came around and we got really into Divergent. By we, I mean my friend group. So talking about that, there's one instance where I feel really bad about. It would be kind of weird if I went after all this time to apologize to this person. I had a friend who was reading the 3rd book in the series, which is Allegiant, which a lot of people do not like this. I personally did like this one. I don't remember which book was my favorite, but back to the story. My friend, he was reading this book, and I don't remember if I actually spoiled it to him, but I kept threatening to spoil it, and I don't know if I ever actually did. And if I did, I feel really, really guilty about that. But again, this was published in, because this was my original copy right here, 2013. That was 13 years ago. It would be kind of weird if I went and apologized for spoiling a book 13 years later. If he does happen to see this, I am sorry, and I do feel really guilty about that because I would never want that to happen to me. And just know that I've grown as a person. As a 27-year-old woman, I'm not the girl that I was when I was 14 years old. I'm sorry. I do feel really guilty about that. That's something I have held on my chest all this time. If I did do it, I don't remember if I did or not. Because as I said, I don't even remember how I got introduced to these books. It is a trilogy, and then later on a 4th book came out. This was my original copy of Divergent. Later, when I got into BookTube and bookish social media, I went and bought this hardback because I wanted all my books to match. I did the same with the Hunger Games, but I unhauled my original Hunger Games paperback, and that is another massive regret. I donated it to the public library, and I bet they sold it. Yeah, that's what happened to that, but luckily I was smart enough and kept my original Divergent copies. I did go and get this one later on. With Insurgent, we have another story. I got this from Book Outlet. Didn't know it was going to come with like crown or like pin stains on it and without a dust jacket. I lent this book out to a friend and didn't get it back, but I am okay with that. That's fine. I hope she enjoyed it. I actually did see some of the movies with her, but that is why I had to go pick up another one of these. And this one is actually different than the others. It has deckled edges, which is kind of cool. And do the others have like this bookmark? I don't know. Is this some kind of special edition? I am not sure, but this is one that I did buy as an adult. As you can see, I obviously bought it secondhand. We talked about Allegiant and how I potentially spoiled it. Look at these end pages. We have end pages, and they only said, ooh, I don't know what that is. I don't think it's mold, but there's some kind of stain there. Man, I had these books a long time. But later on, the author went and published 4. This is One Choice Will Free Him, a Divergent collection. I think this is like a short story collection, all with the character of 4's perspective. It's kind of like what Stephanie Meyer did with Midnight Sun with Twilight, giving us the, I think this is the first book at Edward's perspective, when this is at 4's perspective, and 4 is like the love interest. I had to be very careful with what I'm saying because I don't want to be spoiling things, but there are movies, and these are the movies that introduced me to Miles Teller, and like, yeah, he's one of the ones that he gets a pass, where I don't agree with everything that he does, but he's cute. I have never read this one when I have read these other books in the series. This is going to be the one that's all new for me to read. My other story, I don't remember if it was with Allegiant or Insurgent. I was in the high school lunchroom. Now I'm fine sitting by myself. That doesn't bother me. Like I would sit at lunch by myself if my friends weren't there or whatever. Like I am perfectly okay being all by myself in public. That's his life, you know. One time, my friends, they were in chorus or choir or whatever, and they were on a field trip or at practice or something that day, so I was eating lunch by myself. And the lunchroom attendant, she came over and was like asking me about the book. Again, I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of these. It was like, oh, is it Veronica Mars? I was like, no, it's Veronica Roth. And yeah, so just making good conversation. And then like none of my friends showed up, so she was like telling other kids, like telling them to like ask me to sit with them, and I didn't because I just kept reading my book. Maybe I should have gone and sat with those kids, but I really want to be reading because when you're in school you don't have a lot of free time to read because you have homework and all that other stuff. I mean, sure, I do think some genres you probably could read, but for these kind of really big books, just for my focus personally, it would be difficult for me, but I do know obviously people can do it and props to them, but it would be difficult for me personally. I was taking advantage of any time I could get to read, but that is like, looking back, just was a very sweet gesture of her to give me like that opportunity, not wanting me to sit alone. Oh my gosh, it's making me kind of emotional. I need to calm down. But I did go to all the movies. I went like the day they came out. I enjoyed the movies. I don't think I took my grandmother to any of these movies. Maybe the first one, because she did go to the Hunger Games movies with me, but I think my dad said she wouldn't like the Divergent movies, so I didn't bring her. Sorry. Again, a lot of apologies. We're getting a lot off my chest here going down memory lane, but that's what memory lane's about. There's a lot of things where I want to apologize to people for the kind of friend that I was back when I was a teenager, or I want to tell somebody how thankful I was to have them in my life, but I'm so scared to message people saying that kind of stuff because I don't want them to think I'm having a mental breakdown. I'm like, I'm not. Trust me, I am getting my I am getting my mental health all together. I know I don't talk about that too much on here, but trust me, I am putting in work for all that kind of stuff and getting professional help. I'm not having a mental breakdown. It's just like, I want them to know that I am a different person than I was back then, and I have some regrets where I was a bad friend at times. Yeah, I think we can all say that in middle school and high school. There were times where like, oh, I'm not proud of who I was at certain instances. Yeah, if the slipper fits, I'm sorry for how I was. And that's not how I expected this video to go, but that's how it's going. So these are the books that I am planning to read in the month of August. I'm not going to do a graphic novel or nonfiction. I will still be moodering, so maybe in the moodery category we'll get those. But for my main focus, it's going to be the Divergent series. We're going back to the dystopian times in dystopian Chicago. Stick along this month. I will be starting Divergent today. Gonna be starting this for the first time since like 2013. We're gonna see where it goes, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a beach emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. If you guys watch my videos, you are familiar with Sherman. He was at a county shelter, but sadly passed away from having heartworms. So this is me to encourage you to adopt from your local shelter, but also to make sure that you treat your pets or fosters, whatever, treat them for heartworms, because it is just so awful and it's so rampant in these rural communities. So if you know any way to help, do so. Call your local shelter and see if there's any way that you can help dogs like Sherman.